Good morning, everybody. It's Ben Jones here from Batdorf and Bronson Coffee Roasters, hanging out in my workshop this morning on Monday, the 10th day of May. And I want to talk about coffee grinders. If you've been hanging out with me in the workshop at all, I hope you know at this point that I don't believe in the best. There's no such thing as a perfect tool, perfect machine. And because there are so many ways for people to enjoy their coffee, different expressions of coffee, all of them equally valid, it is impossible to declare a single grinder the best one. With that, there are many grinders that are excellent choices. So let's start with talking about my grinder, the one that I use every day, whenever I make my coffee at home. There we go. All right, so this is from a company called Baratza, and they're one of our favorite manufacturers and resellers of grinders. We keep the Baratza Encore for sale on our website at batdorfcoffee.com. This one is called the Preseason. It's no longer made, but this is basic. It's the same basic layout and footprint as the Encore. Difference here being the Encore, to keep the entry price low, it's about $140 on our website for that Encore. It's a great option. The Preseason is going to come in a lot more expensive. It has full metal body casings on it. They have 40 stepped adjustments. By clicking, we can get 40 different grind settings. Then there's also a sub grind setting adjustment on this one to give you a range in between. So this grinder, for most people, it's overkill. It's more than we need. I also have this really fun feature added to it down here on the base plate. The grinder itself is actually sitting inside of this plate. It's called the Isato Attachment. And what that does is it has like a little gooseneck style insert in there, and that is a digital scale on which the hopper can sit, so I can program my my weights. So if I'm doing, single cup, 2 cups, or 3 cups, I can just hit, whatever size I want to do. So I can get my 19 grams, my 42 grams, whatever. Then you just fill up the hopper, push the button, and it sounds a lot like this. So that grinder, to tell you the truth, I would never buy it because it's more grinder than I need. So I would have gone for something with a little bit lower price point. The Virtuoso is a great grinder, or the Encore that we sell on the website. If you're looking for something with a metal body, look at the Virtuoso. That's the Baratza little brother of that one. Really cool. I got that grinder when I took second place at a coffee brain competition, and that was a really fun event because I showed up with, I don't know if you're familiar with it, the Capresso Infinity. It's a grinder that sits around about $100. So it's in my opinion, one of the best entry-level grinders. It just does what it does. Anyway, with that grinder, I walked in and it was really fun because you walk into the back room at the competition and everyone has, these $300, $400, $500 grinders. And you show up with a $100 grinder and you get laughed at, and then you end up brewing a better cup of coffee for that day. And then I got to take home this little fella right here. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited. Was very fortunate to get that. There's another grinder that's, if you're looking for kind of entry level, again, we don't sell this one, but it's a decent option. This is the Oxo Oxo grinder. Same type of idea, twist top to change your grind settings, and this one will give us about 15 times 4, about 60 grind settings. It has a timer on here, so that's how you turn it on. I always like to weigh my beans, put them in, and then grind there. But what I like about this grinder, when you're looking at a grinder, the things you want to really be aware of is how easily can you remove the hopper. This one's pretty easy. We just twist it all the way. There's a little lock on the inside, so I just go to unlock, and then I can take it out. You want to have a removable hopper so that you can get inside and so you can clean it. The other thing I want to be aware of is what is the travel for the beans from the grinding chamber into the collection. So if you look at this one, we have this little chute right here where the grounds come out after being ground in here. We want that distance to be as reasonably short as we can get it, and we want to have a large enough aperture for those grounds to fall through freely. What happens if you don't have that? The longer the grounds have to travel and the smaller their path to go, you're going to start getting a lot of buildup, and then you get constricted flow, and then you actually end up, when you're grinding coffee, if it can't come out fast enough, it'll back up into the grind chamber, and then you're essentially grinding ground coffee. And that, never a good thing. Anyway, my coffee right here. That's a good cup of coffee. I snuck in early and made it beforehand. So anyway, so this Oxo, I've been playing with it for a while. I kind of like it. They'll have the same feature where the grind mechanism is a burr set. You don't want to get just the blades that spin around. A lot of people use them, and that's fine for, like, you know, sub $50. It'll work. It'll definitely get you a cup of coffee. But if you're looking for any sort of control over consistency and flavor profiling, you'll want to get a burr grinder. But look for something that's really easy to clean. So with this one, take the hopper off, and you can see down in there, you can see immediately there's the bean that was left. So I can take that and I can just dump those out. I can vacuum this out real easily, and then also the burr set itself will pull out. So let me do that here. If I lift up on that wire, I can just give a little twist. I believe this is a twist one. Live TV. There we go. Anyway, if we just hit that with a little vacuum cleaner, that'll get all the little bits out. Oh, there we go. It says lock, twist this way, unlock that way. So I'll unlock it, and this comes out. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about burrs. We want to have stainless steel burr set. This ring here, you can see the teeth on there, all the coffee that's in that. That mounts over like a volcano cone, and then the beans get caught between, and they get ground. And to clean these, it's real easy. Once you pop it out, you just take a cloth and you wipe the coffee off. Very important to do that no matter what type of money you spend on a grinder. And that is why I want to have a grinder that I can get down inside of it. So whenever you're shopping for grinders, if you go to a store, ask them how easy it is to get into. Hopefully they'll have a demo model that you can actually have someone show you how to get into it. If you are using a Baratza type grinder, like this one, it's super easy. We just twist the top, it lifts out, and then you have full access to your grind chamber and your grind chute. It's right there, easy to get to. All right, so there's a lot of different grinders on the market, especially in the kind of $100 range, and that's when I start getting really careful about what you're going to look for, because you know, you might save some money immediately, but after about 6 months, it's going to start to not be so awesome. I would try to stay away from inexpensive grinders where you adjust the grind with a dial. Try to find something where you're actually twisting the whole hopper. Those tend to be a little more robust. easier to control. And then the last one I want to talk about here is it's a really fun grinder. It's another Baratza. This one is, with every grinder, for the most part, you're gonna lose a little bit of coffee to the grinder because there's that distance between the grinding chamber and where all the coffee shoots out. So all the coffee it takes to fill that space is lost. So you might put in 20 grams of coffee and 18.5 grams actually come out because that gram and a half is used to push through. So Baratza, they made this little fella right here. This is called the Sette. Sette because it is shaped like the number 7. And the magic part about this one is it has like a floating grind system up here where it allows you to get essentially 0 retention. I can get this thing to pop out, so we'll twist that. Anyway, with this number 7, our motor is back here, and then it drives the mechanism, whereas on this one, the motor is down here, and it drives vertically. So the Sette allows you to put, your coffee to fall through here, and then essentially whatever you put in is what is going to fall out through the bottom. Same basic idea on the you can twist to remove the hopper, but the grind adjustments are down here. We're going to be lowering the distance of the bottom burr, and that's pretty cool. This one in particular, this is the Sette 270W. W stands for weight. So it has an integrated load cell back here, so that if you're doing home espresso, you can put your portafilter on these little arms, and it'll tare the weight. You push the grind button, and then you can measure and get your dose. Kind of cool. It's pretty fun. It's a little more finicky than the others just because it's a different setup. It's also a little bit noisier because of the way the gears are driven. Cleaning it, though you don't have immediate access to the burrs to get them out, a vacuum up here and down here is more than plenty to get it out because you don't have retention just sitting in there. So this is a little more expensive grinder. It comes in a mode with the integrated scale, or you can get it without. If I was going to get one for myself, I'd probably go without the scale, just because I'm going to weigh my beans on my separate scale or use a scoop to get them out, and that's great. So key takeaways here. There's really not a best grinder. If you're the kind of person who uses 1 or 2 different brew devices, you can go with a high quality lower end grinder. If you're doing primarily French press or like a pour over cone type thing, like a Melita filter, that'll do great for you. AeroPress, fantastic if you don't want to invest a lot of money. Once you start spending more money, the benefit that you get is, there's definitely some nice elements of it, and different RPMs. You usually want to choose a low speed grinder. We don't want it to grind too quickly because too fast means heat, and heat is not our friend unless we're talking hot water. Anyway, as you start spending more money, so like the one behind me, the one I use every day, that has enough precision so that I can really tell between each click a change of grind. Because I use so many types of brew devices, and I'm using like precision equipment, like I have my gram scale that goes down to the 10th of a gram with some immediate reads. I'm using my pour kettle. I'm really looking for the nuanced differences in, flow rate, like all the different technical things. If I can get a more precise grinder, it's going to help a lot with that. One of the things we talk a lot about like we'll call grind distribution. So whenever we grind, let's just say we have it set to a number 16, and that's what our grind setting is. If we were to plot a graph of the size of particles, most of what we get is going to be size 16. There's going to be some 18, 19, even 20. And then there's going to be some fines that are down in the smaller numbers. So like we'll get some 15, some 14, some 13s, and even a little bit of powder depending on, you know, the specific roast. So some grinders are better at getting really, really tight distribution, very specific grinds. Some have more variety. To tell you the truth, they're both good. I like complexity in my cup, and I'm not looking for like ultimate control. So I'm incredibly happy with a wider distribution of grind particles, of course, within reason. So you'll hear people talking about that. It's a thing, but it's not everything. Yeah. For home users, just get a good quality grinder, keep it clean. Our website, we have the Encore, I guess it's about $140. And I believe we still are using our Watch and Learn 10 discount code. So that'll save you 10% on your grinder. And I do recommend, if you have multiple brew devices at home that you'd like to play with, grinder's super helpful because you don't have to rely on getting all your coffee ground at the shop or at the web store when you buy it. So, all right, that's a big ramble. We're big fans of Baratza here at Batdorf and Bronson. We've been working with them for a long time. We use them in our stores. We've also really enjoyed that Capresso Infinity. It's a great grinder. Super fun. All right, I'm gonna hang out, not live, of course, but I'll hang out near the computer. If anyone has any questions about grinders or things, I'll be nearby, and I'll hang out and answer some questions. If you don't catch me live at the computer, pop them in and I'll be monitoring. So I love chatting about this kind of stuff. So thank you all for joining. Have a great day, and I will see you next time.